Hey, what's up? It's Cam Peterson. Thanks for watching MotoAmerica on YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow all of our content.
Hey, you're locked into the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship. Our round, Superbikes at Pittsburgh, presented by LaRoche Aviation Services. We're at Pittsburgh International Race Complex, also known as Pit Race, in Wampum, Pennsylvania, for race number 2 of round 7 of the SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup category. Welcome, everyone. I'm Greg White, standing alongside two-time world champ Jason Pridmore. Now, Jason, here in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup, as of late, Cody Wyman, the veteran of the class, has taken control of this championship.
Yeah, you said it best. He's accumulated a bunch of points, Greg, over the last 3 rounds and really done what he's needed to do. He's come into Pittsburgh here with a bunch of momentum. He's been quickest all weekend as you see him there on pole position. But yesterday, it was Gus Rodeo getting away to a quick start. We'd eventually have a 6-rider breakaway. Now, the key to me so far for Cody Wyman, he never falls further back than, say, 2nd or 3rd. Earlier in the year, we've seen him fall back further. But here at Pittsburgh, Greg, he was ready to dominate this race, and in the late stages, that's exactly what he would go and do. He would take the lead going into turn 3 with about 3 laps to go, as well as this huge moment for Lamondre Jr. as he was trying to get his way to the front. But you can see the gap that Wyman had over Rodeo, and Max Van just clips Kayla Jakob at the line in a photo finish for 3rd.
So for Wyman, a 1.1 second margin of victory, closest to one of the largest margins we've seen this season. But take a look at what we have on Cody Wyman. You can see here how his points championship has gone. It's really Monterey race 2, where he got that 18. Then he was kind of floating in that 20 area. Now, all of a sudden, just like that, because of everything that happened on the track yesterday, 38 points. Well, Jay, looking at Cody Wyman, I mean, he's also giving these younger riders a chance to chase him down and become faster, and it's really nice to see. But today, well, the conditions, they're a little bit weird all day long. I mean, rain in the morning, he was fastest, but you talked to him, and what did Cody say about his championship moving forward?
Well, he's obviously now in that mode where he's built up a 38-point lead with just 5 races to go. This championship means everything to him. So now he can kind of start to plan his races a little differently and be a little bit more strategic. He's done the hard work in getting these race wins and creating that gap. Now he's got to be smart on a day like where it could be raining today or half wet, half dry, those iffy conditions, Greg. So he's got his brain in the right place right now trying to win this championship.
All right, race 2 is right around the corner, but until then, we're going to send it to the MotoAmerica Live Plus crew, the crew. Here's Craig Creamer and Roger Hayden.
All right, thanks very much, G-Dub. And tell you what, this weather has been a little bit weird today, and these fans have ignored it completely. They are out in force, and I think they're looking forward to it. Even if it rains, it's going to be some pretty spectacular racing. So I think they're in the right spot today.
They're in the right spot. They had to enjoy that stock 1000 race going down to the last lap, and it's great to see all these fans here toughing it out, and the crowd just growing every year, every MotoAmerica race, and it's awesome that hillside there, seeing all those fans, all the young guys too, and girls going to be lifetime MotoAmerica fans.
Absolutely. When you witness something like this when you're young, it just sort of locks in. That's certainly what happened to me, when I fell in love with racing, and that's how it plays out. And 3rd member of our team, of course, Michael Hill. And Michael, what's the word from pit lane? Looks like it's clouding up a little bit again.
Yeah, the clouds are definitely coming in. I did actually just make my way across the paddock there following that podium presentation that saw Corey Alexander taking the win in Stock 1000. Walked across to the Disrupt Racing team, had a word with Jesse, who is team principal. Clearly frustrations down there, and clearly, obviously, not a lot of happy people. The good news is that Hayden Gillam is okay. He's got no injuries. Obviously, the motorcycle may be a little bit second-hand, but as I'm sure you can appreciate, Hayden not really in any mood to talk, and as much as I'm brave and it's my last race and there'll be plenty of time to get a new set of teeth, I'm not going to go anywhere near him with a microphone today. But the good news is he's okay, but obviously frustrated.
And in the heat of the moment, I think that's absolutely understandable. But as we talked about, I think once he looks at that replay, he might see it in a different light, right?
Yeah, I think he will. Or maybe we didn't see something on camera that maybe he thinks wasn't right. But I think for sure you can understand his frustration. I mean, the championship is on the line. It's the last lap. Here you see Corey going to make the pass. Hayden knows he's there, and now he's just going to try to lean on him just a little. Try to set up, Hayden didn't just want to give him the spot, wanted to try to keep going, and it might have felt different on the bike though, but obviously it's disappointing for him and the team. you know, you lose all those points. You're battling for a championship, and you know, you put a lot of work into it. And there's not a lot of races left to recover.
Well, and he fought so hard to get back into it and get it within that low two-digit number, and it's, you know, blossomed out again. But it really looked to me that Corey was clearly had his front tire ahead by the time they got to the apex at that curbing, and then it looked like, you know, again, like that, you know, the right handlebar just touched that rear tire, and that's what kicked him down. But Corey just got a fabulous run.
Yeah, Corey set him up the lap before there, you know, was really fast. And that was the sector, you know, I was talking about the whole race where it looked like Hayden was struggling a little bit to get the bike to change directions. And Corey set that pass up the lap before. We thought he was going to do it then. And,
exactly.
You know, so that's just the way it goes. And luckily Hayden's up and okay and going to be able to ride the Superbike race. He has a stock 1000 and a Superbike. So, you know, should be a different bike.
And coming up next, you can see them out on track right now. It is the SportbikeTrackGear Junior Cup that are getting ready for their race. And this was another one that was pretty fierce yesterday. You know, a couple of riders at the end breaking away, but for a large part of that race, as you heard Jason Pridmore talking about, there were 6 of them that were pretty much in lockstep. And Joe Lamandry Jr. had a massive save. It could have been far worse, but still it cost him. Ended up 7th and really hurt him in the points with Cody Wyman winning. It opened the points battle up there quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, and not only did it cost him, it cost the group behind him. You know, it kind of held them all up. And, you know, it's just part of racing, though. And sometimes somebody makes a mistake and you lose time, and it's not your fault. So hopefully Joseph Lamandry can go today. I think he had the pace to win yesterday. All those guys did. Even Chase Black, I thought yesterday, caught that group was pretty impressive. And, you know, just Cody doesn't make mistakes. He has you know, we talk about it a lot. He has a lot of experience, and it's really showing.
Well, I'll tell you, had it been wet here, Chase looked like he could really have been a factor for sure, and, you know, based on the warm-up times. And also, Kayla had a really good last sequence of laps as well. So, but this track, I mean, look at it now. It's pretty much a dry track here, so I think everybody's just going to be going full tilt.
And I will say one thing, the last race, Stock 1000, the lap times were a little bit off compared to yesterday, so the track is a little bit green. You can see the points here. Now Joseph Lamandry 38 back. Kayla only 5 points behind Joseph Lamandry, so that battle's getting pretty tight, and also Gus Rodeo.
Yeah, he's only 2 points behind Kayla at this point, so yeah, behind Cody, it's really close. Let's get back down to Michael Hill.
Well, the grid has just been cleared down here. They're getting ready for this warm-up lap. Max Van looking very, very racy. I'm actually just adjacent on the front row. Practice starts as the guys just head off. And Max Van there with a practice start. If he gets a start like that, guys, he'll be certainly leading into turn 1, and he'll be very much looking forward to a good race. Max Van back on the podium. I've got to say, though, after what I watched yesterday, the surprise for me, in a good way, a really positive surprise, was that performance from Chase Black. If he can just get away at the front of this race and run with them in those first couple of laps, he has got the pace. We spoke to him a little bit earlier on, wet or dry. This young man is definitely finding his feet. And obviously, what about Joe Lamandry Jr. yesterday? Save of the day, I think it was posted on MotoAmerica. Save of the season for me. As I said, I've worked in a few championships this year, and that was an incredible save. He's certainly going to be in the mix. I think there's maybe 5 or 6 guys that could fight for the podium. Kayla Yakov as well is very much going to want redemption for yesterday. Cody Wyman, though, is the man of the moment. It could be anybody's.
Well, it truly could, and I think, you know, one of the guys out there who is awfully hungry right now is, I think, Gus Rodeo. He's, you know, he has 1 win, but he's been so close in other scenarios, and then he's had a crash or an error or a problem. But he's going to be out there.
Yeah, he's going to be close. He's in contention every race, always at the front, so he could win today. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
All right, well, the stage is set. They're coming around to take up their grid spots. With that, let's send it back over to Greg White and Jason Pridmore for the call.
So now we get to our starting grid where Cody Wyman, Gus Rodeo, and Max Van occupy the front row.
Then we're going to have Kayla Yakov, Dreyer, and Lamandry Jr. After that big save yesterday, he's going to be starting row 2 still. Hayden Bickney's Black, Clark, Aiden Thau, Owen Williams, and Medina are on row 4. And then we're going to have Rivera, Monk, Elliott, Scalf, and Muchler back in row 6. Happy to see it dry. It's good to see it dry, Greg, because this morning we had a little bit of a half wet, half dry warm-up.
Yeah. How about Gus Rodeo? Second place finish. He's had 1 win on the season so far, has Gus Rodeo. And that was a few races ago. That was race 1 at the Ridge Motorsports Park midway through the season. Oh, look at Gus.
He's been there. It just seems like he should have won more than 1 race, doesn't it? I mean, Gus has been there each and every weekend. And, yeah, if you'd have quizzed me on that, I probably would have said he'd had 2 or 3 wins already, Greg.
Does seem like that. He's definitely got all kinds of speed. Avery Dreyer on the 99 getting ready to start this race. And Max Van, one of our early championship contenders, already with 3 wins on the season. 10 laps scheduled in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup race number 2. Here the bikes bouncing off the rev limiters. Clutches are out. So now it's the dash to turn number 1. Cody Wyman looks like he got a good launch, as did Gus Rodeo. That's going to be Rodeo, the 96, who leads us. Then it's going to be Wyman and Kayla Yakov, 1, 2, 3.
It's like a carbon copy of yesterday, isn't it? So we'll see if Cody's able to duck up underneath Gus Rodeo as they get up here into the turn 3 area. You can see that 34 has just done that, and Kayla is trying to get up the inside of those guys. Can't quite make it. Looks like Max Van's switched out his leathers into another suit today from yesterday, so he's 4th. And it looks like Hayden Bickney's, Greg. You remember yesterday, he kind of tried to run with that group early. They pulled away from him, but now he's got himself well in the mix here.
So pass for the lead goes to Cody Wyman. You could see just a couple of damp patches on the surface from earlier big storms last night, as Kayla Yakov goes into 2nd spot around Gus Rodeo. Kayla's trying to go with Cody Wyman, who's trying to pull the pin early. We haven't seen this work at pit race yet in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup.
It could, though, and if there's a guy that's going to do it, it's going to be the guy out front. I mean, he has just had a perfect weekend so far. I ran through some text messages with him last night talking about some stuff, and he was talking about if it rained and this and that. And we had a laugh a few minutes before the start of this race about, you know what, let's just go out and do what you've been doing, Cody. There's no reason for you to do anything different. Put your head down and go. And you can see, Greg, right now, that's exactly what he's doing. And it's a big enough gap right now where if he cleans this chicane absolutely perfect, it's going to just put even more pressure on everybody behind him to take bigger risks to catch up.
You know, Cody Wyman is 28 years old in a class that's 14 to 28. He's the veteran of the class. He's got a lot of experience, Jay. This might be one of those situations. There's a lot of chatter this morning about a green racetrack. There was so much rain, but we've already had 2 dry races today. So Cody Wyman, I don't think he's got any of that in his head, and he's just putting it down, and he comes out from a dead stop and does a 158.8 and already has a 0.7 of a second advantage over 2nd place Kayla Yakov.
Yeah, a little further back, you see Owen Williams is on a little bit more of a charge today as well, as he goes by Chase Black, who made himself part of that lead group yesterday. The 14 did. They've got Avery Dreyer just in front, so it's a good start for Owen today. He's up to 8th. Chase Black there in 7th as they came across the line. Cody Wyman came across with a 0.7 second lead, Greg. So if he can keep his head down and stretch this out to 1.5, that's breakaway zone, don't you reckon?
I do, but Gus Rodeo's gotten around Kayla Yakov, so now Rodeo's got some clear track in front of him to try to set sail after Cody. Things are spread out a little bit. It wasn't quite as spread out as yesterday. Things were getting a little bit hectic, but things started to close up in the middle of the race. But such different conditions, much cooler today. A lot of cloud cover and a racetrack that was crushed with rain and high wind last night.
A lot of these riders were here last weekend, partaking in some club races, some endurance racing. Saw a lot of them making posts about getting a little bit of extra time. Cody was also one of them as well. He did some schooling here, I think, with Champ School as well, Greg, over the last couple of weeks. So he's been, all our front runners have really been riding this track a lot. And right now the payoff is he's only lost he lost a 10th in the first split, but Greg, he's 3/10 quicker in the second split. Cody Wyman is, and that's a big gap right now. And watch how he lets the bike roll. He's going to let off the brake here. He lets that bike roll really nicely through the center of this corner, and you can see him out there getting nice and wide and putting that power down.
Coming up on start-finish line, which will take us to 8 laps to go. So we'd like to welcome in the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Hannah Lopa. Hey, Hannah.
Greg, the general consensus among the riders was that they were all hoping for a dry race, with the exception of Kayla Yakov, but Cody Wyman certainly got his way today. He said, in the dry conditions, I'll be more easily able to try and replicate yesterday's race, but also he feels like he has a little bit better control of the risk, and he'll be able to take better control of the championship. And with that points lead in mind after his victory yesterday, he said today he feels like he can ride a lot more freely as well.
Yeah, that 38 points in hand, I totally get that. So he's got a lot to think about on his plate. Right now, a 55.7 is the fastest lap of the race on that lap 2. And the gap is kind of stabilized at 9/10 of a second, but Rodeo's really starting to put a push in. But this is the section of racetrack where we've seen Gus Rodeo super fast.
Really fast, and I didn't like the fact that Cody took a long look over his shoulder there. That gap had creeped out to 0.9. He just needed, I feel, keep his head down for the first 3-4 laps. Watch your board intently and see what's going on, because the second that, if you're running in second place and you see the leader start looking back, it kind of makes you keep wanting to grind him, because you feel like that leader's pushing as absolutely hard as they can, and maybe they'll start coming back towards you. So we'll look at this first split, and 48.9 for Gus Rodeo, 49.2 for our leader. So they've pulled 3/10 back on him. The second split is where Cody's done a lot of his damage, though, in these opening laps. So we'll see when this second sector split comes up, which should come up on our screen any second now. We'll be able to let you know. Yeah, Cody goes 36.2. He pulls back out almost half a second in that second split. Really fast through there.
Through the MotoAmerica chicane here at Pit Race, Alpha Omegas, Cody Wyman continues to lead the way over Rodeo, Warhorse HSBK Racing's Gus Rodeo, Altus Motorsports Kayla Yakov, and then we have Max Van in the mix on the SportbikeTrackGear.com motorcycle. So Max Van, as of late, Jason, has been very impressive.
Yes. Yeah, yesterday we saw him have a big bobble in the chicane, and it kind of sent him back, and he fought his way all the way back up to the front and got with that lead group late, and he nabbed that third spot from Kayla Yakov just at the line. And you can see here, Kayla pulls out of the draft of Gus Rodeo, moves all the way over to the left.
So Gus Rodeo kind of gave the signal like, hey, why don't you guys just sit on the back of me here and I'll drag you up front. But just like that, Cody Wyman goes 155.3, so he improved his lap time as Rodeo has a look over his shoulder to see who's behind him.
I think sometimes it's not just so much who's behind you, it's they want to see how big the group is. You know, see
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
If there's 4 or 5 or 6 of you that you're going to be battling back and forth with. And again, in this first split, they close in on Cody a little bit in that first split. It's 3/10 again. Gus makes up on him. Now they're going to be in that second split, and this is, like I said, we'll look again and see if Cody can continue to get away. Remember, Greg, he had 0.7 of a lead on the first lap, and it's at 1.1 right now. So,
yeah, sector number 1, there's just nobody as fast as Gus Rodeo, because when they come across the line, he was given the signal, you know, kind of tapped on the back like, hey, follow me. He turns around and sees Kayla a couple bike lengths behind him. If he turned around now, it would be like, wait, where are they? How come they're not running with me right now? And a lot of the work that Gus Rodeo has done has been through that sector 1, and Gus Rodeo just goes his fastest sector 2 of the race so far at a 36.5, where Cody Wyman, Jake, did a 36.2.
And it's not even Cody's best, and he still pulled away 0.3 of a second in that second sector. So anything that Gus makes up in the first sector, he loses in the second, and we'll see kind of where it balances out here in the third. And you know, Greg, the funny thing is that Gus is, you know, pushing his own win in that first sector as well as what Cody's doing, but he's able to just get through a couple of the turns a little quicker, probably through here in turn 1 even. So we'll see if he can continue to keep closing. Hannah?
Talking to Gus, he's on the exact same setup as yesterday. He said it wasn't perfect yesterday, especially because the track was so greasy, but today, as Greg mentioned at the start of the race, it's so much more green out here because of the rain that it suits his bike a lot better, so they're keeping it the same for today. And he also said, you know, the cool air is a lot more preferable as well. His bike really likes that cool air, so hopefully both of those factors will help him.
So Gus Rodeo in second spot, trying to chase down Cody Wyman, who's 1.1 seconds up the road. Max Van and Kayla Yakov going back and forth as the battle for third continues to rage on. So Max Van had gotten around Yakov for a moment, Jay. Yakov finding a way back around.
Yeah, they can't just quite match the pace of the 2 in front of them right now, so they're going to battle down to the line again, I'm sure.
Rodeo did an identical lap time his fastest lap of the race, but a 1:55.3 for Cody, 1:55.3 for Gus Rodeo as well.
Yeah, and Cody just ran his fastest first split of the race, so that's a good sign for him. 1.1 seconds though still, Greg. I mean, like you say, the lap times don't lie, and they were on the same exact 10th, 55.3s for both of them.
I mean, this is an unusual SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup race. Normally we see these races so close, not spread out like this. And I'm wondering if maybe some of the teams maybe outthought themselves a little bit, you know, in terms of we had a wet session this morning and it's not going to be as fast perhaps because maybe there'll be some damp patches, there's cloud cover, it's cooler, and maybe, you know, what, like where's Joe Lamondre Jr.
Yeah,
that we normally see? Where's Avery Dreyer in this mix? You know, where's the right?
I was thinking the same thing. You're literally taking the words out of my mouth. I was thinking, how did these four just break away so quickly? And you know, some of it, Greg, is if you weren't happy with your setup yesterday and you've gone back to your crew as Max Van goes up the inside there at Kayla Yakov in turn 1. You know, the thing is if they wanted to make any changes, they didn't really get to do a fair assessment of those changes this morning because of the track conditions. So to your point, some of them might have made some guesswork on what they wanted to do as far as setups go today. Kayla now returning the favor in turn 3. They wanted to try to maybe go with those changes again, and that maybe they're not quite working. So
yeah, right. So maybe some of these riders that we normally see up front took a gamble today.
Yeah, because you can see Avery Dreyer is back there, and he was kind of in that group as well yesterday, and yeah, he's in 6th.
4.5 laps remain in the SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup race. We're watching the battle for third between Kayla Yakov and Max Van. All the while, Gus Rodeo in second spot, 1.3 seconds behind our race leader, Cody Wyman. And Yakov and Max Van have been swapping this third place position a couple of times in the last couple of laps. And we don't see this going away anytime soon, do we, JP?
No, these two are going to be like this all the way to the end. It'll be interesting to see what was learned yesterday. So here you have it again, 49.1, Cody's fastest first sector. Gus actually goes 49.0. So as you can see here, Cody's getting better and better through that first sector of the track. And this has got to be a weird race for Cody because, I don't know if we've seen somebody lead from the start or 2 turns in and then just pull away. I don't think we've seen that all year long. There's always going to be somewhat of a battle, but right now Cody again pulls that 0.3 of a second in sector 2. Max Van has found another way past Kayla. These two, she's probably going to end up drafting him down that front straightaway.
Yeah, in terms of the points championship, I mean, this is basically the 5th race of 5 to go. So when this race is over, we're only going to have 4 races remaining in the season, and Cody Wyman is in a battle with Joe Lamondre. 38 points adrift, and Lamondre right now has worked his way up to 5th place. But 5th place to 1st place, that's 14 points difference. So Cody continuing to pad his lead in this championship. There's a nice draft and pass move from Max Van to get back around Kayla Yakov. Again, the battle for 3rd. Nice inside line for Max Van.
Yeah, he's done a nice job. These two are just, I don't really feel like they're holding each other up too much either. I mean, I know they're about a second off the leader's pace. That last time by 55.3 for Cody, 55.7 for Gus that time. And these two here are in the 56.5s. Hannah?
In talking to Kayla earlier, she was really disappointed with getting caught right at the line by Max yesterday. She said that really motivates her to try and perform better today. She said she felt really good with her pace, and she feels good once again today. Yesterday's setup wasn't 100%, but it's definitely going to be a dogfight to the line with these two. I know that Max felt he wasn't maybe as aggressive as he could have been yesterday, so they're definitely going to push the pace and push each other to the line.
Yeah, it's so hard because, I mean, Greg, these bikes do have the ability, obviously, to draft out of that last corner where some of our bigger bike classes, you can see this is yesterday. Max had drafted her coming towards the line and was just able to get through, and you can see Avery Dreyer in really quick succession also ended up 5th. And Avery Dreyer today is just back a little further than we would have expected. But we don't see too many races like this in Junior Cup, do we, where they're this spread out?
No, we don't. And the one thing we know about Kayla Yakov is, and Max Van, is Kayla likes winning, but she hates losing even more.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if it's for 3rd place, wants to stand on that podium and celebrate with her Altus Motorsports crew. And there's a little rivalry brewing between these two. We got a little bit of history this year between these two riders. And Yakov looking for a draft and pass move. Doesn't look like she's going to be close enough as they peel her off around pit race. So much elevation here, Jason, and There are plenty of places to pass. The question is, how many risks are you willing to take? There's only really 2 or 3 spots on this racetrack that are the least amount of risk if you want to pass. Yakov up the inside. Nice move by Kayla to take over 3rd spot.
If you've watched what they've done, though, they're just kind of drafting and passing each other. They're not really carving each other up too much in the turns, Greg. So the last time by, Kayla, they both went half a second quicker the last time through. So 56.0 to 56.1, leaders 55.6, 55.7. The gap at the front now is 1.7 between Cody Wyman and Gus Rodeo. And you can see here now Max Van wants to try to draft back by. It wasn't close enough to go past Kayla down into turn 7.
There's no doubt yesterday's race playing on the mind of Kayla Yakov, as she has seen Gus Rodeo slip away by about 2.3 seconds. Cody Wyman now at 1.7 ahead of Gus Rodeo. So this is the battle for 3rd spot. And of course, when you look at championship implications, Yakov is in 3rd place in this championship at 43. Max Van 68 points back from the leader. So Max Van trying to make up some points on Yakov, where Kayla's looking ahead. Yakov is ahead of Gus Rodeo, Jason, by only a single point. So her eyes in terms of this championship need to look forward, because if this is the way it's going to end, the difference between 2nd place and 3rd place is 4 points. That means we would see Gus Rodeo move to 3rd in this championship. Kayla would slip back to 4th. But right now she's got her hands full with Max Van.
Yeah, we're looking at 2 laps to go, and they're going to just continue to battle as they come across start-finish line side by side again. Kayla's going to get the better of Max as they go down into turn 1. Expect him to try to get in that draft. Look how quick Max gets that big frame of his in behind the bubble of that number 48. He drafts back by, and he'll lead them through the infield section of pit race this lap.
Cody Wyman extends his lead to 1.9 seconds over Gus Rodeo. So with less than 2 laps to go, unless there's a huge mistake by Cody Wyman, that might be settled. And Rodeo is extended away from this battle. He's now got a 3-second advantage over Yakov and Max Van. So here comes Kayla out of the draft.
She'll stay in behind there, just like Max did to her the lap before. She's going to just fall in behind, and she'll probably, I mean, Greg, you know, at this stage, she's going to start probably playing some strategies, and you start to think, you know, she's got a lot of racecraft. Maybe it's not going to be bad for her to not pass Max all through here, you know, this time, and maybe let it go to the last lap and try to do something with Max on the last lap. This guy here, isn't it amazing what confidence does for a rider? We've seen it with Cody. He hasn't looked back since Laguna Seca. He's been able to control this championship in what was our tightest championship. We probably had 5 or 6 riders that were contesting this championship, and he's taken the advantages that were gained at Laguna, rolled on to Brainerd, and really when you look at it, it's gone through his whole program. He also rides Twins Cup here at MotoAmerica, and he's been very fast again this weekend in that, and it's just a confidence building thing. You start feeling like you're the one to beat, and it will transfer over. And Cody's on a motorcycle a lot as he gets the white flag. See Gus Rodeo still chasing, but it's been pretty impressive watching what Cody's done here these last 3 rounds.
When the battle for 3rd comes across the line, it'll be Yakov who gets the nod. Max Van.
You know, it's interesting there. She led him across the line, and it'll be interesting to see if Max goes back past her here, or let's see what he does.
He kind of winds it up midway through that first corner.
Yeah, well, now I think Kayla is in a spot where if she led across the line after drafting him, you know, maybe she can hold that in her pocket and realize, hey, I can get by him out of the last corner possibly. So Max is going to try to put his head down.
And the problem with the SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup bikes is you don't have a lot of options in terms of lines. You know, it's like if Max tries to block the inside of those final set of corners of 17 and 18, he might lose his drive going through 19, then onto the front straightaway.
Yep. He protected the inside going into 7, so he was definitely wanting to lead through all this sector. That's what that tells me. He wanted to lead through the S's, and Kayla's just going to stay right on the back of him. Now, after they go through these turn 8, 9, 10, they go through a little kink here, and then they're going to go back a gear or 2 for this next sector. Go back a gear here, up this hill. Kayla will have the ability to maybe try to draft back past after they get out of this corner.
I can tell from Max Van's body language, he is putting everything into this final lap. He's pushing hard.
Yeah, I agree.
And he got a little bit of a gap on Yakov there. Brakes again.
She's trying to stay close. You can really see her trying to stay as close as she can. And Max Van goes wide, and let's see what's Kayla going to do here.
Yeah, so Max Van tries to protect the inside line. He's going to have to drift out here. Yakov.
Wow, he got into his tuck early as Cody Wyman wins again.
Cody Wyman coming across the line, takes race 2 of SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup Gus Rodeo. And here we go to the line. Does Yakov have enough? No, it's going to be Max Van who will take that one by 2/1000ths of a second. So Gus Rodeo closed down on Cody Wyman. 1.561 seconds. That's the largest margin of victory in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup. Here's a look at the battle for third. Great run by Max Van and a hard break for Yakov. Boy, we're going to have to see that. I mean, you would think. Wait a second. Wait a second.
Wow.
That might be Yakov.
They're going to probably have a look at that one just to have a look at it, because you and I don't know exactly where the actual
transponders, where the transponders and where the beam is.
Correct.
You would think it's going to be the leading edge of that.
Or is it the leading edge of the white paint?
Yeah, or
is that
the leading edge?
I don't know. So I just don't know. But that was something that I'm sure Race Direction is just having another look at, make sure they get it right.
Yeah, our timing and scoring group here, MotoAmerica, is definitely having a look at that photo finish. That one's awfully close, and it can really be where the transponder is located on the motorcycle itself, where it trips that beam. You would think that everybody would have the transponder located in the same spot, because everybody's on Kawasaki Ninja 400s.
Yep.
But the question is, its transponder is not the final. It's that photo finish. What front wheel crossed the line first?
See what we see. We're going to maybe get another look at that. Here we go, Greg.
As it comes across the line, we just saw in our timing and scoring screens that Yakov has been credited with third place. Wow. So it goes to Kayla. So it's got to be Cody Wyman, Gus Rodeo, and Kayla Yakov on the podium. Max Van in 4th spot. Lemandry Jr. in 5th. Chris Clark in 6th. Avery Dreyer, Hayden Bickneys, Chase Black, and Owen Williams, your top 10. But 1.561 seconds, the largest margin of victory in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup this season. It was Cody Wyman over Gus Rodeo at Laguna at 1.526. But we'll hear from Cody when we come back to Pit Race.
Well, an unusual display of relative, and I say relative because in SportbikeTrackGear Junior Cup, 1.5 seconds is a big margin of dominance by Cody Wyman. Gus Rodeo also very, very strong. The two of them checked out. That battle for third was the stuff of legends, though.
Yeah, that battle from third continued on from yesterday right on to today between Kayla and Max Van. And to me, it looked like Cody and Gus had pretty much the same pace, but Gus got caught in that battle early on, and Cody got too far from him. You can see this photo finish there. You can see Kayla on the left clearly a little bit in front.
Just a nose, and that's all you really need. And then Joe Lemandry Jr. fighting his way up into the top 5. And how about the run by Chris Clark up into 6th?
I was just looking at that. That is a great run by Chris Clark for his first Junior Cup race to get in that 6th place and battle with guys like Joseph Lemandry, Avery Dreyer, Hayden Bickneys, people that's been in this class for a while. What a great learning day for him.
Absolutely. Let's get down and check in with Michael Hill.
Oh, wow, what a final lap that was. Still getting my breath back down here. There were kind of faces on the pit wall, everybody looking, nobody really sure. Kayla now has just been told as she comes down here that she is on the podium. So that's another podium for Altus Motorsport. George Nasani, big smiles down here for him. I don't know if you get a chance to see the replay again, but if you do, watch it back. Just look at the body language as Kayla Yakov physically pushes the front of that Altus Motorsport Kawasaki 400 across the line. The body language, she was willing that bike to get past Max Van. If you get to watch it back, they showed it a couple of times down here in the pit lane. If you do see that back, I mean, she put everything into that. And when you see the slow-mo, that was proper brute strength, just willing that bike across the line. Brilliant race. You've got to feel for Max Van, but he'll be in the mix, of course, for the rest of the season. But, boys, that was brilliant.
It was indeed, and wow, what a great finish. Kayla back up on the podium, and Cody Wyman and Gus Rodeo 1st and 2nd. Let's get back to the booth.
STG Junior Cup coverage is sponsored by SportbikeTrackGear.com, the motorcycle apparel and parts specialists. By LaRoche Aviation Services, elevating your expectations. By Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. And by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car or motorcycle insurance.
Spectacular aerial support provided by LaRoche Aviation Services. This is what Western PA looks like, at least here at Pit Race in Wampum, Pennsylvania. Let's take a look at those results. Confirmation, Cody Wyman, Gus Rodeo, and Yakov. Race 1 redemption. Let's get right down to Hanalopa with our race winner.
Greg, Cody Wyman captures his 6th victory of the season in fine style. Cody, you were finally able to break away from the pack like you've been hoping to do at so many different rounds this season. What was a little bit different about this race and this victory?
Yeah, just really feeling good from Friday morning. And I know it's not as exciting for TV, but I like those races a little bit more, a little less stressful for me. My lap timer wasn't working. I lost some grip mid-race, but was just able to put clean laps together. Big thanks to Alpha Omega, who's helped out all year. Big bunch of AO gear in the vending area. Make sure to check that out. Helmet House, Cortec Leathers, Shoei Helmets, Champ U, Champ School, Harv's Harley Davidson, K-Tech got me dialed in, really feeling strong. Motivation USA, SC Project, Evil Technologies. My mom on the board gave me the right gaps. My dad doing everything for me. This is great. Let's keep it going.
Congrats to Cody Wyman, today's STG Junior Cup race winner.
Well, Jason, you've had weekends like this in your career, and it's great for him.
It's a lot less stressful when you can just get your head down and get out front, hit your marks, and pull away from people. It's a lot of fun.
Let's get back down to Hannah.
Place today goes to Gus Rodeo. Gus, really trying to keep in touch with Cody there. Where were you looking to try and pick up some time and close that gap?
Yeah, Cody set the pace right off the bat. I lost a little bit of time when I got passed by a couple people, but I just tried to close it in and I couldn't get it done. He was absolutely ripping this weekend. I'm super excited to get back to my home track and put on a show for the home crowd. Thanks to my whole team, Rich, my dad, Artie, Owen's been helping out this weekend, thank you. Mom, sister, brother, everybody, grandparents for helping me out. It's nice to be back up here after 2 crashes at Brainerd, so hopefully we're still in the championship. Thanks Luckstar VIP, Rodeo Racing, NJ Mini GP, Geoscape Solar, Innovative Motorsports. For you, Scotty, always. Just thank you, everybody.
Congrats, guys.
That was a good result for him, and when he goes back and looked at those Sector 1 times, you got to know he was ripping.
Yeah, the Sector 1, he definitely had the consistency there that he needed to run up front, but like you said, he got held up a little bit in the sense that he had to work a little bit harder to get that clear track that Cody already had. Hannah?
3rd place today, a photo finish for Kayla Yakov. Kayla, after Max caught you at the line for 3rd yesterday, are you feeling a little bit of redemption here with this result?
Yeah, definitely. This weekend's just big in the struggle. We've had a lot of issues with the bike, shifter. We didn't even know it was going to work for this race. They've just been working so hard, my dad, the whole Altus Motorsports crew. We've just been off pace all weekend, so it was nice to battle with those guys in the beginning. I had nothing for them. They rode a great ride, and I got some redemption for Max, but yeah, it's all good. I just have to thank everyone behind me, the whole Altus Motorsports crew, Fly Racing WPS, M4, Medallia, Mission, HJC, the Warhorse Group, CFE, and everyone else supporting me. I really appreciate it. Dragonfly Coffee Roasters and everyone else.
Congrats, Kayla.
The perfectly timed draft and pass.
Yep. I mean, yeah, she waited till late, but she was able to get by Max Van and flip it. I mean, between the two of them this weekend, they beat each other by less than probably half a wheel.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, we had a photo finish with them yesterday and one today.
All right, so here's a look at the standings. Now 49 points between Gus and Cody Wyman. Lamondre and Kayla tied. Well, that'll do it for this one. We can't wait to see you at New Jersey Motorsports Park. For Hannah and Jason, I'm Greg. Thanks so much for joining us. See you real soon.